everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of the What is a Hit Record podcast. Uh, I just want to apologize to you guys for the let's say three week delay. I was just handling some personal issues and um just refueling myself, let's say. So I was kind of burned out for a few weeks, but now I'm back and I'm ready to get back into talking about the music industry. So this week, um, this episode is dedicated actually to some fallen important individuals um, that unfortunately and surprisingly passed away within the last week or so. Um, so first of all, I want to send a rest in peace to and my condolences to the family of Mr. Hovain Hilton, who was the probably the most influential artist manager in the business. He was part of projects. He was part of artist projects who fans didn't even realize that he was part of some of the most influential projects to come out within the most recent years. For example, he was the one who brought back the idea of having influencers like Elliot Wilson and Brian B. Miller bring back their podcast for their company Rap Radar. So the Radar podcast. It was Hovain's idea to bring that back. And the one of the reasons why I mentioned that first is because, like I said, Elliot Wilson is one of the best influencers and with the most experience in the music industry, as well as Brian B. Miller. Some other projects that you may not think that Hovain was a part of, but he was. He was influential. He was influential in the return of artists like Lloyd Banks and uh, Smoke Dizza and other people like that. He was actually last year in I think it was September. He was also influential in Lloyd Banks signing an independent deal with Empire Distribution, who is the best independent company uh, within recent years for independent artists within the music industry. Um, Man, he was the reason that actually Lloyd Banks was the episode in which the Rap Radar podcast returned. Lloyd Banks was the first guest because of Hovain's connections again to the Rap Radar podcast, and um, man, uh, man, I'm gonna say this, and this is just a personal thing. Um, I wished Hovain a happy birthday, and he responded like a week. Like his birthday was November 18th, and he died and he passed away on Black Friday, which was November 25th. So so yeah. So I wished him. I literally wished Hovain a happy birthday uh a week before he passed away, and got a response of gratitude and thank you. So um this passing away of Hovain, it hit me hard because I literally talked to this person like a week before he passed away. So I I wouldn't say that I know him. I knew him. I didn't know of his influence, but I didn't actually start speaking with him. Uh, I actually only started speaking with him within the last year or so because of my fandom of Lloyd Banks and my connections to the music industry. I only started speaking with Hovian like in the last year or so, starting from June 2021, when Banks released the first course of the end. The Kate, uh, sorry, I believe it was Kate, but Mr. Roberts, if you're there, you can verify the name. I believe her name was Kate, if I'm not.
Irene Cara.
Oh yes, Kara, Miss Kara. Yes, Miss Kara. Uh, that slipped my mind, but yes, Miss Kara. So we also had the passing away of Miss Kara, who was also an influential um, artist within the music industry. Uh, even before that, I was born. Actually, I think, right? So yeah,
So,
Mr.
Kosta, just giving you and our listeners a heads up.
Yeah.
Irene Cara is basically known for the movie Fame.
Yes, yes.
When the director actually heard her sing, he rewrote everything for her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She's also very influential in other artists that she was a writer for.
Aha.
But she was also did a cameo in 2 movies, and one of them also had Mr. T in it, called DC Cab.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I you know what? And it's funny that you mention writing because most artists, even in this day and age, people don't know like who wrote what really, right? So like it can be
Right.
Drake. It can be, for example, it can be Drake writing something, like writing something for another artist, and you would think that, that artist that's singing the song came up with it by himself. But in reality, within the music industry, the truth is that like 99.9% of artists, they have people that they work with that come up with ideas for the artists, and they do it collaboratively in the studio, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
so it's not always the artist. If you even like, you have to be like for example, you have to be like 50 Cent to even like come up with your own ideas. But I'm saying like most like R&B even R&B singers, most of the songs that they sing aren't their. I'm not gonna say it's not their idea, but they come up with it with a room
They
of
collaborate with somebody else, not often.
exactly.
It's a collaboration between another artist.
Yeah.
And a lot of time they never give the credit to the actual thinker
Right.
of it.
Exactly. And
But she
that's
started
something.
actually on Broadway, dude.
Sorry, say that one more
Irene
time.
Cara started on Broadway.
Oh, she did. Okay. There are some things that I'm not aware of regarding Miss Cara, but I do know how influential she was within the music
Right.
industry, and I wanted to dedicate this episode to her as
She
well.
really didn't come to fruition
Yeah.
with singing and all until the movie Fame.
Right. So yeah, it's based off. Yeah, her fame is kind of based off a movie in which she was a part of, right? So basically, yeah.
Yes. So she was originally casted as a dancer until they heard her sing, and they're like, "Oh heck no, she's going to be the singer in this entire movie."
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's to be man. Imagine that. Imagine in that day and age.
And she also, from that movie, she also sang the song "Out Here on My Own," which both songs
Mhm.
were nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Song.
Wow. Wow. And she
And
won.
it made history at that time.
Yeah. Did
Because
she?
it was the first time that two songs from the same film,
Yeah.
sung by the same artist, were nominated in the same category.
Was she able to take those trophies home or not?
Well, she was nominated.
She, actually, you know what? Even the fact that she was nominated is absolutely incredible because even even a nomination means that the academy or the people involved they recognize your achievements, right?
Now, she went on, she had the opportunity to perform that song at the Oscar ceremony.
Aha, aha.
At the Oscars, the writer of it, the two gentlemen by the name of Michael Gort and David Pitchford, who
Yeah.
wrote that, won an Oscar.
Aha. So okay, so they did win. Yeah, yeah. Okay, 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 okay. I was
And the
wondering. Yeah.
film won the Academy Award for Best Original Score.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. That means the music and the soundtrack were on point. For yeah, that's good. That's
Correct.
great. Actually. Yeah.
But she went on
Wow.
to further herself. That's what the movie fame basically catapulted her into stardom.
Exactly. 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 And it's funny that a movie called Fame would catapult somebody into complete stardom. That's a great story, man. That's a great story. I uh I commend her for that. That's,
And she wrote,
mhm.
um, she co-wrote the song Flashdance.
Aha. Okay. 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 And that became. I would say that became a big hit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And here's the trivia, a little trivia bit. She
Okay.
wrote the lyrics in the back of a cab.
Wow. 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 I wonder how. I
In New
wonder how
York,
she
heading
can.
to the studio to record it. She wrote it in a cab. And she
Oh.
wrote it without any music in mind.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty impressive. I'm gonna tell you this. It comes up for me. It comes up. It comes up to like 3 or 6 months for me to like write an article, and that's like, man, I can't believe she would come up with that in a cab ride, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Sometimes you just have to sit back and commend people for their natural God given talent, I guess.
Correct.
Wow, that's incredible, man.
So
Um,
at this
yeah.
point, I'm going into the back now.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Roberts. You are the man. All right. So now to go into more current events. Uh, I think um Bank. Speaking of Lloyd Banks, just one more thing about Lloyd Banks. He and an artist by the name of R.J. Payne. R.J. Payne are releasing a collaboration within the next 4 hours. I believe 12 o'clock midnight. So and some other music that is dropping tonight. I believe Busta Rhymes hype man Spliff Star is releasing a new song tonight, and that's interesting because like I said, he's usually Spliff Star is usually just Busta Rhymes hype man. So it's very, very rare, the fact that you see somebody else's hype man or stage hype man release a song. So that's gonna be interesting to hear and see what the subject matter is all about. So yeah, that is what's gonna happen December 2nd, which is in a few hours. Um, I don't know what else is there to. Let's see. Oh yes. So another thing is, um, regarding 50 Cent, he announced a collaboration with the Indiana Pacers and as well as the Sacramento Kings. So let's figure out how many industries um, 50 Cent has either dominated or is planning to dominate in. So he has dominated the music industry, right? The highest selling, he still has the highest selling debut album in Get Rich or Die Trying in hip hop history. Like nobody has gone up to those sales. No artist in history to this very day. So he's dominated the music industry. He is dominating currently the music and film industries, or the film and TV industries, I'm sorry. And he's planning on taking over the sports industry as well with collaborations with teams including, like I said, the Indiana Pacers and the Sacramento Kings. Um, in other news, and this reminds me, in other news, starting in 2023, uh, a member of G Unit named Tony Yayo is going on a 24-date Canadian tour, and I will be there on February 5th when he comes here in Toronto at the Rec Room. So that's February 5th. Um, Tony Ayo is planning a 24-date Canadian tour starting in January 2023, and he will be in Toronto on February 5th. And I haven't gotten the details yet, but I am planning potentially on being there on that day. Well, I think actually, speaking of another thing, I think actually the Super Bowl might be on that day, I believe, or is it the week after? I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. It just depends on how things work out, I guess. So again, uh, February 5th, Tony Ayo will be in Toronto, and he's going on a 24-date Canadian tour starting in January 2023, and hopefully you will see X10 Entertainment artists opening up the show, because I referred artists like Makenta, who is on X10 Entertainment and has two songs out called Lately and The Boys Club. So an artist on X10 Entertainment named Makenta has two songs out called Lately and The Boys Club, and she may be opening up. She may be an opening act on Tony Yayo's 24-date Canadian tour. So look out for her potentially being on the show, on the tour, as I sent an inquiring email to the promoter of the tour. So let's see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated on X10 Entertainment artists and what they're up to in recent times. Um, what else is there to say here? Sorry, guys, I'm kind of. Just give me a second. Let me see. Um, give me a second, guys. Just looking something up here. Maybe. I don't want to get into. Okay, you know what? There are some things that I don't want to get into because I addressed them a few weeks ago, and I don't want to touch on the same topics about like Kanye West and all that stuff that's going on with him. But um, me, I'm gonna just address it and end it like this. So I was a fan of Kanye's older albums like College Dropout, like my Dark Twisted Fantasy, all that stuff. But Kanye has lost me. Not that I was a fan, but he has lost me as a overall listener. With the things that he's saying in the public eye, right? So I'm not gonna address it in full. I'm just gonna say that he has lost me as a listener, and yeah, I hope that I all I can say is I hope he figures things out here. So because yeah, his reputation is completely damaged, and I have a feeling that important people within the music industry are gonna try to. I don't like using this word, but are gonna try to cancel, and deservedly so. They're gonna try to cancel Mr. Kanye West. So that's the last you will hear from me about about the subject of Kanye West, and yeah, I um I just hope he figures things out is all I can say. Um Let me just see here. Um oh, yes, something else I wanted to address. So, on December 9th, which is well, if you count tomorrow, it's 1 week away. So, we have some important releases coming up on December 9th. One of them is the announcement that a group consisting of Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, E40, and Too Short will be releasing a group album under the moniker Mount, instead of Mount Rushmore, Mount Westmore, because they're all from the west coast of Los Angeles. Yeah. So they will be releasing an album called Mount Westmore on December 9th. Also on December 9th, uh, A Boogie will finally be releasing his much awaited, especially by me, his much awaited new album, uh, which is filled with hit records, and you guys are gonna see what I mean by that on the day that it releases, because yeah, I'm definitely excited uh for a new album from A Boogie. Um, it's gonna be amazing, man. Uh, what else is there? Oh yes, there was controversy between Nas and a new artist from today's music industry named 21 Savage. The the um the controversy started potentially because um 21 Savage stated that Nas doesn't have a fan base anymore. Uh, that basically indicates that people think he's old and doesn't really have a fan base that supports his music. But but that is completely untrue, and I don't think that 21 Savage actually meant that. I think he meant that um to maybe today's young listeners of hip hop don't really know much about Nas, and that they need to do their research. So it was kind of a misunderstood statement by 21 Savage. And the reason I bring that up is because I don't think there's any beef between Nas and 21 Savage, because they just released a remake together of Nas's hit record One Mic and One Gun. So sorry, re-release of One Mic, which was one of Nas's best hit records. So One Mic, but instead they called it One Mic and One Gun. So yeah, that's an interesting collaboration. And I'm happy that they figured everything out and there was no actual beef between them. Speaking of Nas, I need you guys to check out his new album, The King's Disease 3, that came out on November 11th. I say that because over the past 3 albums that Nas has released, it feels like he has breathed or breathed a new life into his own career, because the music he's putting out is absolutely incredible. The full length albums, the last 3 of them at least, have been absolutely incredible, and they deserve. I know the Grammy nominations came out on November 15th, I believe, but he deserves a Grammy nomination for next year's Grammy participants, because, like I said, King's Disease 3, his new album that came out on November 11th, is absolutely incredible. Um, and I that's one of the albums that I suggest that you guys sit back and listen to when you have some time to do so. Um, what else is there to talk about, my guys? Hold on, let me just figure out something here. Um, hold on. So there was one last thing I wanted to say about Hovain, and then yeah, and then we'll see. Cause so there was a tweet that was put out by Hit Boy, the producer named Hit Boy, who has basically executive produced the last 3 albums from Nas, and is basically, I would give him the credit and basically say he's the reason for Nas's resurgence within the music industry. And he put out a tweet saying that let me find it here. Sorry guys. He put out a tweet, and I quote, Hovain had just hit me up about doing some music with Lloyd Banks prior to his death. So God bless him and his family. So me personally, as you guys know, Lloyd Banks is one of my favorite artists, as I probably have brought him up in basically every episode that I've done. Not to sound weird, but yes, he is one of my favorite artists. So I hope that this collaboration and this set of music comes to fruition, even though Hovain has passed away, because I have expected long ago a collaboration between Nas and Lloyd Banks, as I believe that they are some of the most prominent artists to be in the music industry today. Um, let me go to Instagram and see, because also starting today, Spotify has released their Spotify Warped lists. So Warped is regarding every artist's statistics throughout the year on Spotify. So I'm gonna read you some of the statistics that my one of the artists that I work with, named Don Music. I'm gonna read you his statistics according to Spotify, um, throughout the last year. So throughout 2022, his statistics on Spotify. Okay, let me just load up the page here. So to this very day, Don has had, and this year, Don has had, Don Music has had 5,000 streams and 2.8 thousand listeners have listened to his music for 238 hours in 74 countries. Next, his music was shared 72 times. 48% of those times came from a direct link posted on social media or wherever, and 37% of those 72 times came just from Instagram. So the majority of listeners to his music added his music to 70 playlists. And that would say, and Spotify says they have impeccable taste. And like I said, Donovan's music has been played in 74 countries. His top 5 countries were Canada, of course, because we're from Canada, but Canada, Brazil, Mexico, Germany, and the United States. His music was saved to Spotify 219 times. So again, this is a completely independent artist statistics. No label, no marketing, no anything, just independent. So his music was saved by people 219 times. His music saw gains of 69%. So his listeners grew by 69%, and his followers grew by 29%. And it says his best song released in 2021 was a song called A Song About Nothing, featuring another artist that I work with in Judah. So that was his best song of 2021, A Song About Nothing, released in March 2021 of last year. And I'm just gonna read you one more artist, one of my favorite artists, as I said like 2 minutes ago, but one of my favorite artists statistics, and then we'll move on to something else. So here are Lloyd Banks' stats for this year. So Lloyd Banks had 1.63 million streams this year. 106.3 million. That's 106.3 million streams of his music this year. And most of that, like I would say 99, not to toot my own horn here or seem like a fanboy, because I don't like doing that, but 99.9% of those 1.63 million or 163 million streams is because of me, because I I listen to Lloyd Banks music all day, so that's the majority of that is basically from me. And for those who don't know, I'm joking. I'm joking. So 16 million listeners. Wow. 5.8 5.8 million hours. Wow. In 162 countries. So Lloyd Banks is obviously a well-known name, and his music is basically streamed everywhere for millions of streams. But I'm gonna say this about streaming. Let's get into the effects of streaming. Okay, so what I'm gonna say about streaming is kind of controversial in saying that yes, you have artists like Drake and Kendrick Lamar who break all kinds of streaming records uh with 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 basically with every new album that they come out with. So, but what I'm going to say about that is streaming streaming albums will never be, I know it's a digitized age, but streaming albums will never feel the same as going to your corner store or going to your HMVs or Sonny's Music and actually lining up to meet the artist or buy their album. I'm an old school guy. I still like collecting albums, like physical copies of albums. I like buying buying them from the artist if they make it available. Because some artists nowadays, because of the digitized age, they don't make physical copies available for their albums. But like well-known artists like Kendrick Lamar, uh, they he made his last album physically available to buy, and I ordered it. So that was one of the happiest days of my life because I was this year because I was waiting 5 years for Kendrick Lamar to release another album. So I was happy about that. Artists like Lloyd Banks, I guess he kind of, I guess, and this is just my assumption, I guess he relies on just streaming numbers because he hasn't released physical copies of the two albums he put out last year and this year in the course of the inevitable one and the course of the inevitable two. Um, so to that end, I'm gonna call Mr. Roberts back in here, and we can take a short 22-second break because I'm kind of like losing my voice here a little bit. So, yeah, Mr. Roberts, if you want to come to
Not a problem.
All right,
Sure.
you can do so. Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Carl from the ATR Network, also the producer of the Around Rose podcast, and I'm proud to introduce to you one of our good partners, Moonstar Smoke, right here in Animal Park, New Jersey. There's their phone number, their fax number. Guys, if you're a vape smoker like I am, they have everything you need. Also, too, if you're a hookah smoker, they have all your needs for that. Check them out. They're a mom and pop store. Sweetest people in the world, and you want to check them out. But also, too, you want to stay tuned to see more advertisements coming from them.
All right, guys. Now that we passed the short break, let's get into some more numbers. Apparently, oh yes, on October 4th. I know I'm going back a little bit, but again, I missed 3 weeks of doing this show, right? So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit on some things. So on October 4th, 21 Savage. Speaking of 21 Savage, he released a collaborative effort with Drake called "Her Loss." So I believe that I could be wrong about this, but I think the album in general sold 104 or 100 105 104 or 105 thousand copies in its first week already. So again, that was all the way on November 4th, not October 4th, November 4th. Yeah, they released the album on November 4th, and I think it sold 104,000 copies in its first week. So in terms of Drake's culpability, you can see that he's probably the most popular artist right now in the music industry. There was some other news that I wanted to get to. Hold on, guys. Hold on. There was some other news that I wanted to get to here. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay, so just one more thing I wanted to address about 50 Cent and his shows. So one of his current shows on Stars, BMF, is now going to be played on Fridays instead of Sundays. So starting January 6th, season 2 of BMF will be airing on Stars. Make sure you guys get the Stars app to follow all of 50 shows and all his business arrangements as well. The reason why it's still on Stars, but 50 Cent is no longer with Stars is obviously because these seasons were obviously not pre-recorded, but done during when the deal was still on. So I don't know what else is going on with the deals with Stars, but or with the shows with Stars, but I'm expecting 50 Cent to announce more deals in the coming year in 2023. Speaking of, and that goes into, I want to speak on other new artists, other new age artists that just recently released albums. An album that you guys should look out for came out from NBA YoungBoy and Quando Rondo. It was a collab project called 3860. So that's a good album that you guys should check out. It's a collab album from NBA YoungBoy and Quando Rondo. 3860. Let me just go up here. Oh yes, a popular artist that you guys may know by the name of Doja Cat plans to release her new album very, very soon. I commend Doja Cat because early in her career there was some controversy regarding some of the things that she was saying about legends like Nas and other legends, but she was able to overcome that, and basically every song she puts out becomes a hit. So I'm very excited to hear and see what Doja Cat has in store for some of her fans here. So let's see what happens when her new album comes out. Also in recent news, Apple Music has released their 2022 year-end charts. An artist by the name of Kid Laroi, Kid Laroi, and Justin Bieber, who everybody knows, have the top songs on the list, and Bad Bunny, the Latin artist, has the top album according to Apple Music, and the way that they chart, they count the music on their charts. In some unrelated news to music, apparently a new trailer for That 70s Show was released, but instead this one is going to be called That 90s Show, apparently. So that is going to be premiering on Netflix on January 19th. So I'm interested. Okay, usually I'm not a fan of spin-offs, but I'm very interested to see what they do with the spin-offs, with the spin-off of the That 70s Show, because that was one of my, to be honest, that was one of my favorite shows growing up, and I'm interested to see where they go from here. And apparently the actor that plays Red Foreman, the actors that play Red Foreman and Kitty Foreman are returning to the show. So for them to be returning to the show is a green light for me to tune in to see what they have in store with this new spin-off of the show. Let's see what else, if there's anything else here that I'm missing. Oh yes, along with his 24-date Canadian tour, starting in January 2023, Tony Yayo also has his own podcast called the Welcome to the Culture podcast, which you guys, along with my podcast, should check out his podcast as well. The first episode is out now, and it just displays him going to a canine building where they train canines according to police training, and he just tests out how it works, like if the dogs bite him or not. And yeah, it's a very funny episode to check out. So again, that podcast is called Welcome to the Culture podcast by Tony Yayo. That's another good hip-hop podcast to check out. And as you guys may already know, not the main actor, but one of the main actors in Power Rangers passed away recently, and that affects me because, to be honest, I was a fan of the Power Rangers, and Tommy was my favorite Power Ranger. So, and people can say whatever they want, but he was a very influential role model when it came to TV shows like that. So it's just a sad thing to see that all our idols, or people that were born in the 90s, our idols are passing away so suddenly and so quickly. Let me see if there's anything else I need to address here. For those of you who don't know, I get most of my hip hop updates from a site called hiphopandmore.com. I believe that is the best website to go to for your hip hop needs, and that is what I'm scrolling through right now to keep you guys updated on the current events in the music industry. So Hip Hop and More is the site that I usually use to go to for hip hop news. Uh, let's address this, and it has to do with wrestling. I know this isn't a wrestling podcast. We save that for Tuesdays, but I need to address this. One of my favorite scenes, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but one of my favorite scenes in wrestling was when Stone Cold Steve Austin attacked Booker T in the grocery store in 2001. I know we're going a ways back here, but to me, that was one of the best scenes ever to be produced in wrestling, right? So if you guys want to go back to see some of the footage of that, the clip I'm looking at right now was posted on Twitter by the account FYE Clips on November 19th, and they post wrestling clips, old or classic wrestling clips. Again, that's FYE Clips. And this is footage from the grocery store scene between Booker T and Stone Cold in 2001. And again, that is one of my favorite scenes to this day in wrestling history. Sorry guys, sorry for the delay here. I'm just going through. Oh yes, one last thing I need to address before ending the episode. Also, on November 14th, it was reported that Post Malone and Sway Lee's song Sunflower went 17 times platinum. That is the highest certified single in music industry history. 17 times platinum. It's a song by Sway Lee and Post Malone. It's called Sunflower. I believe it's from Spider-Man, the Spider-Man soundtrack. I forgot which year it came out in, though. But the song is called Sunflower. So I suggest you guys check that song out. It's a very good song. I still bump it to this day. So congrats to Sway Lee and Post Malone on all your success. And I hope to be as successful as you two are one day. And hopefully, I'm just putting this out there, but hopefully that success comes with this podcast. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to episode 6 of the What Is a Hit Record podcast. And I'll see you guys next week, or you'll hear from me next week on December 8th. Okay? So enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you next week. From here on out, it's peace from me. See you later, guys. Catch you on the flip side. Peace out.